Yo, what's going on, you guys? This is your host, Brandon,
And this is Blake.
and this is your favorite video game podcast, the Sticky Buttons podcast. We're coming at you with a really special episode today. Blake, do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, we've got some great games coming at you today. We've got two free to play games and one that you've got to shell out $70 for. So pull out your wallets and we're gonna get right into it. First off, we're gonna be talking about Marvel Snap,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
a free to play card game on mobile, which probably raises a lot of red flags for people. But before we get into that, I want to ask you, Brandon, do you have any history with card games?
Oh, man. Do I? I used to play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid.
Yeah.
I still have some of those decks.
You actually played. So you bought the cards, made the decks, and you played?
Yeah, bro, I was really into Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I would
Oh yeah,
assemble
man.
decks. Pokemon, I had a lot of different cards. I even tried out Magic the Gathering at one point. It was all right. I didn't really get too into it.
Oh yeah, man.
Baseball cards as well. I really liked collecting those. Still have a pretty thorough collection of baseball cards.
That's awesome. Did you ever get into the Pokemon?
Yeah, I did get into Pokemon cards. I didn't really like the battle aspect of it where you needed the energy cards,
I have no idea how to do it.
place a move. Like that was so like taxing. And you also needed like Pokemon coins.
Oh, you need coins too?
Yeah, it was like a lot. I definitely played like my own version of Pokemon with a card game.
Yeah, I think everybody did before. I mean, I never really learned how to play, but all I knew is if you put the coolest card down, you won. So that's how I played. But I really kind of just wanted to talk about, our history with it because, card games they're so fun and they're very, I don't know, I guess kind of intertwined with the culture, that we're in today's day and age.
Yeah,
And the card games have really, kind of popped up in popularity again, I would say. So I kind of just wanted to talk about our history with it and then just kind of talk about Marvel Snap. So I guess some of my, I guess, memorable moments with card games in the past is when I was a kid. I traded some Pokemon. I was into trading the Pokemon. I really like the trading aspect of it.
yeah.
I traded a Zapdos for that. Oh my gosh, what's the Pokemon with the two heads?
A Doduo?
Doduo. Yep, I traded Zapdos for a
Bro, that
Doduo.
is not a fair trade at all.
Well, you know what, Brandon, little me, I stand by it to this day, man. Two heads are better than one. So
Yeah, sure, buddy.
that
That is, that
that
was a
might
great trade.
that was a bad trade. I'll tell you that much. If you're unfamiliar, Zapdos is a legendary Pokemon, and the one that I got is a very common normal Pokemon, but he has two heads, and
He does
eventually
have
he
two
gets three
heads.
heads. So, hey, look, Blake's math is a little young kid with sound. Two is better than one, so stand by it. I remember at one point I traded all of my Pokemon cards for Bakugan balls.
That's awesome.
So, in retrospect, that was also a great decision.
That was
I
you could have just bought some Bakugan balls at the
I
store.
should have. That would have been
Because that's
smarter.
exactly what the kid who sold you those Bakugan balls did. He just went and bought more Bakugan balls, and now his Pokemon card collection got way thicker.
Yeah. Well, so that's two strikes against Blake. Well, I guess we'll keep going down the list. I got into Magic a little bit.
Dude, that's a fun one.
Magic's fun. I got two starter decks, and then I traded all of my Yu-Gi-Oh cards to get a Magic deck, and then I never got that Magic deck. So don't know what happens there. Patrick, if
Strike
you're
three.
out there, you owe me a Magic deck.
Strike three, man.
That's strike three. And then I guess strike four is the two Magic decks that I had. I learned that you couldn't even play them competitively because they
Wow.
were of a wrong gen. So I guess
Wow.
in order to stay up on Magic, you have to buy, the current card set, the current gen. Same thing with Pokemon. I'm assuming same thing with Yu-Gi-Oh, not really sure. And this all happened before I graduated high school. So I guess I've been burned quite a few times by card games, but I just love them, man. I think they're so fun. They're so fun, like getting the
Dude,
cards, building your deck, and like beating somebody on wits alone, which despite
yeah.
these these strikes against my record here, was very good at playing.
Dude, you got to get a Yu-Gi-Oh card deck and we should duel. I would love to do.
I can't, man. I had a great deck and now I've got nothing. So, but this is where Pokemon Snap comes into it because it's a free-to-play mobile game. All you have to have is a couple megabytes of storage space and an Apple account or an Android account. Download it on your phone. And, I guess right off the bat, with a lot of these card games, like Hearthstone, for example, you still, even though they're digital, you have to buy, the current season or the current generation of the cards in order to stay competitive. And with Marvel Snap, I think if you pay for their battle pass, they have a battle pass that is $10. And I think if you buy that, I think you might get one or two cards, but that's really insignificant because a lot of the times you unlock cards through playing the game and leveling your cards up. And one of the ways that they're making money, and I think they made $2 million in their first week. So it's a lot of money that people have spent. It's called a variant card, and it's Marvel. And, people love Marvel characters. So in order to get a variant, it's just the same card, does the exact same thing, but it's got different art to it. And, that's kind of Marvel's whole ethos, from the beginning. They'd have a comic book, have two or three covers, it's the same story with a different cover, might have different art. One might look cooler than the other. And that's kind of how they're making their money. So all these variants are like $10. So that's, I guess, the bad out of the way. But like, truthfully, I haven't spent a dime. I don't plan to. And I'm still, winning the vast majority of my matches because the game is just so fun and it really allows you to think and be clever, which I think is just what card games really do best. Is allows you to build a deck, allows you to strategize, and then it just allows you to have fun.
Yeah.
And when you get into these matches, like I timed a couple, they have not been over 5 minutes. So I played one this morning while I was waiting for the A, and I played one just to show like my coworker as they were like packing up their bag. And I was like, it was done by the time they packed up their bag. So it's very quick. It is very snappy. So I mean, you're in and out of a match in like, let's say like 5 minutes at the max. So the actual maximum is like 6 minutes because there are 6 turns and every turn can only last a minute, but they never do. So I've only been timed out once just because I just wanted to see what happened. And so I guess just to get into it really quick. So the way that it works is you've got a deck of cards and you've got 3 different locations. You can call them 3 different lanes. And each of those lanes, so I guess you can think like a middle lane, a right lane, and a left lane. And the way that it works, the leftmost lane gets revealed on the first turn. And it's basically this little like icon. It's kind of like a square. And it just says what this location, what this lane, it has an effect. And that effect can be anything. And it's really fun because there's just so many of them. Like I hardly ever I get repeats because I played it a lot, but like there are just so many that like I've seen so many and they really don't come up all that often. It's like if you play 5 matches in a row, that's going to be 3 different locations per match. You're going to have 35 different locations. I don't know how many there actually are. You hardly ever see repeats. So like, let's say on turn 1, something's revealed and the location revealed is there's a -2 ninja in this lane from the get-go. And the next one is if you play a card here, it duplicates it to another location. Or if you play here, shuffle 5 rocks into your deck, and a rock is like a 0 card. So like there's all these like adverse effects, and it's really fun just to play them. Like truthfully, like it is just so fun. Like it's pretty magical. I'm not gonna lie. And I've just been having so much fun with it. Like I truly the first time that I like sat down to play it, it was like I plan on playing it for like 10, 15 minutes and then move on to another game. I played it for like 3 hours straight. No joke. The first time I picked it up. So I think that just speaks to how good of a game it is.
And aren't the matches fairly quick?
Yeah, they're very quick. Like you're in and out in 3 to 5 minutes. And it's really fun. And it's tutorialized very well too. Like I hate me, I hate tutorials. It was very simple. It was really good.
Well, that's good. I definitely gotta download that, try it out. Marvel Snap definitely has like a League of Legend-esque vibe to it. It sounds like, which I really like.
Yeah, I mean it's really fun just outwitting people and having a good time with the cards you've unlocked. Because you can really build all kinds of different decks.
What kind of characters are they? Are they is it like Black Panther and like Hawkeye? Is it like people from the MCU?
Yeah, but there's also a lot of people that I don't know. Like there's one, for example, Jessica Jones. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, I actually do know Jessica Jones. I think there's a show on her on Netflix.
Oh, wow. Well, I didn't really know anything about Jessica Jones, but she is one of my favorite cards to play. And here, I guess I can show you my whole card collection. So yeah, I'll just go down the whole list. So a lot of these people I don't necessarily know. So these are all the cards that I have unlocked. There's Ant-Man, Hawkeye, Angel, Iron Fist, Korg, Mantis, Misty Knight, Nightcrawler, Quicksilver, Uatu, the Watcher, Cable, Medusa, Star-Lord, Colossus, Domino, Scarlet Witch, the Sentinel, like the Sentinels from Iron Man, Shocker, Wolverine, Ironheart, Wolfsbane, Mr. Fantastic, the Punisher, Cyclops. And it's really cool. It's like this is a good example of this. They've got a card, like a lot of the times when you get a card, it kind of matches what the character would actually be in like the MCU. So like this card is called the Hulkbuster, and it's the Hulkbuster suit. And when you play it, it attaches to another card and gives it a buff. So I think that like that's really cool, and a lot of things are like that. Jessica Jones, Kaiser, Moon Girl, Namor, The Thing, White Queen, Iron Man, White Tiger, Blue Marvel, Devil Dinosaur, Gamora, Spider Woman, Abomination,
That's awesome.
Spectrum, Apocalypse. I don't know who this is, but it's like, oh, I just didn't know how to read his name. Heimdall, Odin, and the Hulk. And that's
That's sick.
everybody that I have right now. But yeah, I mean, it's really fun because they all do so many different things, and you can only have 12 cards. So you can only have 12 cards in a deck. So, and you can only play a maximum, I guess that would be, I guess all 12. If you played all of your cards, I guess you could play all of your cards. There's only 12 spaces to play. But yeah, it's so fun. It's so cool, man. I'm really enjoying it. And I think anybody should give it a try. Especially because it's free to play. You can just try it, see if you like it.
Definitely download Marvel Snap and try it out.
Got to get hooked on the card games, man. Honestly, Brandon, I think you'd really like it. I think you should give it a try. Honestly, just download it right now, man. What's stopping you?
You're right. There's nothing stopping me from downloading it right now.
You doing it?
Yeah,
Let's go. You're gonna have a great time with it, man. Like truly. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun for you.
I like the art for it already.
Yeah, it's really sick. The art is really cool.
It has a 4.3 out of 5 on the App Store.
Well, for a free to play game, that's actually pretty good. What do some of the reviews say?
I dislike this 3000. This is a 2v1 game. Someone said almost nothing but positives. For the most part, it's good reviews. Needs nerfs, but it's overall still amazing.
Yeah, it's really fun, man. And the thing is, they have like weekly, I guess, locations that when they add them, like they're really OP. So like you really have to like utilize them. And I think that's kind of part of it. You know, it's like some locations are going to be like way overpowered than others.
Oh, wow.
They can like really change and make the whole game. But there's like a card, like Scarlet Witch, for example, her card, if she destroys a location, replaces it with a random different location. And I've used that before. I have it in my deck. And I think it's like it can really change the tide for you because, you know, if like let's say they've really utilized the location and maybe you don't have a deck to utilize that location, just zap it and get a new one. And Scarlet Witch is a fairly low cost card, like to use in terms of the energy cost to play the card. I think it works really well and I'm really enjoying it. And I don't know how you've been, Brandon, but I've been kind of fatigued on the whole Marvel universe. I'm really into this and I'm really enjoying it, especially because like it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Like they don't have to all fit together, and I think that it's a really good aspect of it.
Yeah, I like it. It's a great way to like introduce a lot of new heroes. It seems like
Yeah.
there's a little bit of funny banter between them. Like right now I'm playing and I place Rogue next to Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's like, "Hi, I'm Spider-Man." Like he didn't have to say that, but I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was fun. I just played Star-Lord. Shout out to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Hell yeah, man. And I think everything that needs to be said is that Brandon's already playing it right now. So it's really so easy to get into it. So just give it a try.
Oh,
Mm.
Medusa. I've never heard of Medusa.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters I haven't heard of, like Medusa and like White Tiger. I don't know who White Tiger is, but I have her in my deck. I
Yeah, I've
think she
never heard of
rules.
what Tiger either. But yeah, man. Marvel Snap. That's
Yeah, once you finish that, we can move on to the next game.
finish the tutorial.
Or once you just finish that game.
Yeah.
What's going on? Break it down for me.
I'm holding 2 out of 3 locations right now.
Yeah, so that's another thing. You only have to win 2 of them. You don't have to win all 3.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm just playing card. I just played down Iron Man. Oh wow, these guys
Iron
played
Man's a
down.
really OP card.
Let's play down a level 9 Abomination. But I have a level 12 Hulk. Okay,
Smash
I'm
him,
gonna
bro.
off one. Smash him up. Hulk smash. Oh, America Chavez is put in the but she is no match for Hulk. Hulk just smashed up the whole squad. I just go. I got that W.
There you go, man. Marvel Snap. Brandon just got his first taste of addiction right
Yeah,
there.
that
Let's
was
go,
fun.
man. Yeah, yeah, seriously. Once you get a little bit more into it and unlock some more cards and can create your own deck, like it's really fun. Because I mean, I think I've created 5 decks at this point.
Oh wow. Is there a hero that you're
Yeah.
using a lot more than others?
I use Quicksilver every match, which is the first card they give you. I think it's really useful because
Oh, reliable.
Quicksilver's ability is it's always going to show up on the first turn. And then there's another card that's always going to show up on the second turn. And I have them both in my deck. So, I mean, there's only 6 turns. To know what you're going to do the first 2, I mean, it's kind of repetitive, but I've really got a lot of I try to stay away from the cards that are very situational, which means they're like really good in a certain situation. And then I try to make my deck as adaptable as possible.
I
So
see.
I've realized that I tend to go for, or I'm at the moment, I am tending to go for a lot of, I actually just switched it up because I did have a lot of like high power cards. And then I was like, I think I want to switch it up and maybe play more of the maybe lower scoring, but more adaptable cards.
Right.
So I guess we'll see. I actually, with this current deck that I made, I've lost more with it than I've lost with my other ones, which were just like go for the power. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think because it makes me think about it in a new way. And I think maybe finding a middle ground there might really work for me personally. But everybody has their own play style and their own strategy. So yeah, I really like Jessica Jones. I even started reading one of her comics, but I don't like it very much. So I think I might bail. But yeah, that's Marvel Snap. I mean, it truthfully is like so much fun. So I recommend anyone checking it out. But on to our next game, man. You want to kick it off, Brandon? I
Yeah.
guess.
Our next title is going to be a really popular game that we probably have never covered before on the pod. We may have only mentioned
I don't
briefly.
think so. I don't think we've ever talked about it. Not a single time.
It's going to be Overwatch. It's a really fun title. I've got into maybe 1 or 2 years ago now.
So you played the
And
first one.
I played the first one, very familiar with the first one.
So you kind of just
It's,
want to give us a breakdown of what it is?
yeah, Overwatch is a third-person shooter, and you're going to have different characters that you can use. You can only play as one at a time. And yeah, it's a shooter, different types of roles. There's like support, like an assault, kind of. I think there's like a kind of
There's
like a
like
medic role
like
too.
tanks and healers.
Yeah, and you kind of got to work as a team to, get that W. And it's a really fun strategy game, strategy shooter, action packed. I had a really good time with it, but I spoke to Blake about This new title that came out recently, a couple weeks ago, or it's like last week actually, Overwatch 2, because there's been a lot of controversy behind it. Some people have been saying that, the fact that the model got turned into
Free to
a,
play.
a freemium kind of model
Free.
is not fair because, this game that they know and love is now kind of been saturated by people who have disposable income to spend on the game and, just be better than everyone else. And
Yeah.
I don't know, man. How do you feel about that, Blake?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, so we're really talking about, I guess, a good example and a bad example of free to play. And, Overwatch 2, I guess I would kind of echo a lot of what you said. I mean, it's very action packed. I mean, it is objective based. I would kind of describe it as like a hero strategy based shooter. Like you really have to, be focused on the objective or you're really gonna lose. So you can't really just go in there, acting like it's a free for all. Like you have to be strategic and everybody kind of has like there's five roles and everybody, has a different role and different ability. Like every character has different controls and different abilities, and you have to play to those strengths or you're just gonna get wiped. And like I've been in a couple matches where like if you're not working together, or like there's like two or three people on your team that aren't working together, you are trapped in the spawn, like all of you, and you can't get out because you have to work together. It truly like everybody on the team has a role and you have to work together. But I guess kind of getting into the why, this might not work so well. Honestly, truthfully, Brandon, I think that this is an egregious rollout of this game. And I'm kind of coming at this from two angles. So I guess just to let everybody know, I guess what happened is they effectively, so I guess Overwatch 1 was a premium shooter experience. It cost $60, and now it's a free to play title in Overwatch 2. Nothing or very little from what I gather from seeing gameplay and, reading what have different people have said that played Overwatch 1 and talking to Brandon. Very little has changed from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2. However, effectively what they did was delete Overwatch 1. So much so that if you put a PS4 Overwatch 1 disc into your PS4 or PS5, it downloads Overwatch 2. And I think that that's really egregious because if you're somebody that paid for this title, you paid for this. I guess what I'll say is most people consider these to be products. They're marketed to us like products, buy them like products, they are sold like products. And essentially what happened was it's no longer a product. And people were realizing that, hey, even though I bought Overwatch 1, I paid $60 for it. I don't have the rights to it. It got deleted. It doesn't exist anymore. You cannot play Overwatch 1. You have to play Overwatch 2. And they changed up the whole structure of it because instead of, you paying for a premium shooter, now anybody can get in. There's no barrier to entry. And, there's two aspects to that. Like me personally, I didn't really want to pay for Overwatch 1. So I've been able to get in and have an absolute blast playing the game. But there are a lot of people that they bought Overwatch 1 and then now it's, oh, cool. Like I have all the characters unlocked, but maybe my skins didn't transfer over. Or, maybe my favorite character that I used to play as, like, it's not the same anymore. Or, man, I paid $60 for this and I can't get this skin that is for my favorite character unless I buy the battle pass and get it to a certain rank. And oh gosh, this battle pass expires in 12 days. Like it really sucks for somebody that, had bought this title and really, you know, invested in it and then suddenly it's gone.
Yeah, that's rough, man. It's like you said, like we spend $60 on this game and you would expect to always have that version of the game accessible, right? But what they did here is kind of, in my eyes, it's not cool because yeah, it's very strategic, right? How do you gain more market share when your competitors have so much of it? You decrease the barrier to entry, right? Make
Yeah,
it.
you really have to be, if you want to be anything in the shooter space, you have to have a lot of players.
Right. And, this is the mark of a publicly owned company. They just have to do whatever they have to do to, maximize profit for the shareholder. And that's cool. I totally understand that. But, they're definitely sacrificing a lot there from a creative aspect and also like customer loyalty. It's a flex of their power as a supplier that's just kind of nasty, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I think
But
that, yeah, I mean, like they were able to effectively, they sold a product and a couple of years later they deleted it. And I don't think it would be as bad if you had the expectation going into it. Like when you buy things that are not permanent, most of the time you know it.
right.
But I still have my copy of Pokemon Sapphire,
Yeah, like every other
and
thing, you kind of have that expectation. Every other video game, at least, you have that expectation that you can one day return to it and have that experience again.
yeah,
And it's really unfortunate that they had to just, instead of just leaving us with, that title, they decided to go ahead and just force you into this payment model. And that's really what's egregious. And I don't know.
yeah, no, I mean that's a good point because if you like, let's say if you're a person that loves Overwatch, you bought the $60 original game, you unlocked everything, you got all these really cool skins, they continued to support it, and you got all of this stuff. Now, in order to get all this stuff, you have to pay $10 a month. So in 1 year, you're paying, if you want to play it and unlock everything at the same level that you did previously, you have to shell out $120. That's
Right.
$10 a month. That's twice the price of a $60 title.
Yep.
And people are going to pay. I mean, I'm not going to tell anyone what to do with their money, especially not in video games. If let's say this is the only game that somebody plays, $120 on video games is nothing. But, if you're somebody that wants to play a couple different games and just so happens that this is your shooter, it's really tough. And I guess just to educate everybody a little bit, this is a DRM issue, and which is digital rights management. And that's who owns what. If you buy a digital copy of a game, who owns it? And I think that that's, really coming into question more and more as things like this happen. Or I haven't really talked about on the podcast, but I mentioned before I have an Xbox, PlayStation, and a Switch. My Xbox won't turn on anymore. It died. I mean, it's lived a long life, I mean, not everything lasts forever, but now I effectively have no way to play my Xbox games because my original Xbox One, like, it just won't turn on.
Wow.
And like
Rest in peace, like
yeah,
Xbox.
I know for real. RIP to my Xbox One. But I mean, if I were to buy a new Xbox, I would still have access to those games. But there's a game that I own. Actually, there's a couple of games that I own on my Xbox that I love them. I wanted to play them on PlayStation, my new thing. And I really, I went and I got a second copy of the game. I wish that I didn't have to do that, but that's what I did when I switched. I knew I was going to have that kind of price, or I guess I knew I was going to have to pay that cost when I switched over from Xbox to PlayStation. But it just stinks that we have to worry about who owns the games that we buy. All right, and I think we had a Gengar corrupt our save file there, so I think we're pretty much ready to end it up. I mean, we kind of said all we wanted to say, or at least I said all I wanted to say, and I think we can kind of talk in loops when we can get onto I guess like a more negative tangent. But it stinks that this happened. It stinks that the game exists in this state, but
Yeah.
it is still fun to play. And if you're somebody that has never played Overwatch and is curious about checking it out, you can
Check it
jump
out.
in. I jumped in and I had a great time with it. I did play with a couple friends and they were able to kind of show me the reins and what to do as
Yeah.
a healer tank and a DPS character, which is just a damage character. And it's fun to play as all of them. So you might end up having a good time, but just, be cautious of the free to play aspects of it. And sorry to anyone that bought the first one, including you, Braden. It's too bad. He's a tear shed.
It's all right. It's not the first time I've been finessed by a company that makes games. It's all right.
It happens more often than not, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But
seriously, dude. But on a more positive note, let's talk about a game that makes me happy, that makes us all happy. That's going to be the new Modern Warfare 2 that was released. Now, I was kind of hesitant to purchase this in the beginning, but I'm glad I got it when I did. It's really an amazing title. They executed well. It has really some slight tinges of the original Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, and it's a great title. How do you feel about it, Blake?
hey man, I was in the same boat, very hesitant to pull the trigger. I kind of did a gut check on day one on the Friday, and I saw, there were like four people on my friends list playing it. I talked to you earlier in the day. You had bought it. In my opinion, that's five reasons to get it if five people have it. Because I mean, in today's world where there's so many free to play games, and it's hard to even get people, to check out a free to play game. That
That's
that
fine.
that real estate on your storage drive or on your hard drive on your storage. That's the prime real estate. And I purchased it, I had the pang of, man, I just spent $70 on Call of Duty yet again. But that immediately went away. I had so much fun playing it the first night, despite all of the issues, getting into a lobby in a game on night one. I just had so much fun with it. And it really captures the spirit of the Modern Warfare 2019, which I just love so much personally. And I'm so excited that Brandon, you're able to play it. We were talking a little bit before we got on the mic that you were like, oh, the snipers just feel so good. And they truly do. This was the first game where I ran overkill and I had like an AR and a
Yeah.
sniper just because it just feels so good to play in this game. And the shooting and just the gunplay of it, it's just unmatched, in my opinion, to any game that's ever come out. That's an FPS. It just feels so good and it's so fun. And I just can't wait to get more into it. I'm really excited for them to unlock or to put out the hardcore mode,
Oh, me
hardcore
too, bro.
hardcore team Dom with the submachine guns. And actually, I don't know if have you played a Call of Duty since they added the marksman rifles?
Yeah, I have Vanguard.
I love the marksman rifles. I would say marksman rifles are probably my favorite class. And once I unlock more of them, I'm gonna have those on. I think I'm gonna be an overkill guy and have two main weapons because I just think it's so fun to play with them.
That's all I've been doing. Two weapons, especially with the new way to get camos, which I really enjoy. I like it. I'm always a camo hunter. I really enjoy the challenge of trying to get these camos on your guns. And
Yeah,
so this year, they actually incentivize you to try out every single gun. You don't just have to use that same exact gun
yeah.
over and over and over. You actually have to try out different guns in order to unlock challenges for that gun,
And you
a
like that?
specific gun. I do, because as you're playing, every single gun is already getting challenges unlocked. So it's kind of like a more cohesive way to complete the camo challenges if you're really trying to, get diamond or gold. I think it's a way to just incentivize people to complete it. It makes it a little bit easier if you've been in the long run, when you think about it.
Yeah. I don't know. I personally disagree a little bit. I don't really normally go for the camos, and I guess I'll leave it there. I'm not somebody that normally chases that. Especially in the beginning, I don't have as much time to play as I have in the past. I'm really just trying to unlock everything. And kind of as Brandon said, you have to kind of change up and try different weapons out. And I'm really not a fan of that. So normally it used to be there's a linear tree, and you'd kind of unlock this weapon is when you got to this level, and you'd unlock this weapon when you got to this level. And now you have to, it's kind of like a tree. It's like a branching structure. So you'll unlock certain guns based on level. And then when you unlock those guns, you have to level those guns up in order to get different things. And I personally really don't like it because, I mean, Brandon said he chases the camos. I personally really like to chase the reticles. I really like to customize what it looks like when I look down the barrel of the gun. And I actually haven't even found a place to, I mean, it might be in the game, I might have missed it. I can't figure out a way to customize the reticles. So I haven't figured that out. I don't know if it's in there. If it's not, that's gonna, that's a big knock against it for me personally. But even just trying to unlock the sights is a pain in the ass. And you have to, I really don't like the way they did it because I really want to try this one sight on this one gun, but it doesn't matter that I have that gun leveled up all the way. I have to basically, when I did the math, I had to unlock one gun by getting another gun to level 12. I had to get that gun, the next gun to level 16. And then after that, I'd unlock something, and the scope that I wanted to try out unlocks a level 4. So I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm going to have to grind 3 different guns in order to try out the sight that I may like. And I think I
Damn,
don't
bro.
really like that. I don't like that personally, but I mean, one thing I will say is it keeps it fresh because I will like truthfully, like it's like a tree. And once you get to the certain level of a gun where you can't unlock any more guns, I've been switching it out. So I'm not wasting any time. I'm trying to maximize it. And I have 4 or 5 different classes. Each one has a different gun. In the first and second spot, I've got no overlaps. I'm leveling them all up. And then as soon as I get to it, I switch to the next class. And I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of that personally, but I mean, like honestly, Brandon, like if we're being honest, that's a pretty sweaty thing to complain about. Like that's a really in the weeds Call of Duty thing to, I guess to be upset about. And I think I had said previously, if it feels like Modern Warfare 2019, I'm in, and it does. And it's just so fun to play. I don't know if you can attest to that. I mean, I think you're having a great time, but
It's so much fun to play, bro. I don't think you could get the reticles. Like, I don't think the reticles is a thing you could like change on your site. Not that I know of yet, but
yeah, not that I know of you either. Those challenges were my favorite part of 2019, but it's okay if they're not in there.
it's just super fun to play this. Like the maps are really nice. I honestly, I take that back. I wouldn't say they're really nice. I mean, they get the job done. I definitely
There are
see
some
some
really
better
cool
maps.
ones.
Did you hear one of the maps that we might get sued for?
Yeah, it's a shame because that I think is the best map in the game right now. And I think it's so
Really?
much fun
I
to
don't
play.
like that map.
You don't like the hotel map?
It's so open.
Oh, I think it's the opposite of open. There's so many hallways. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you just got to go around the outside, man. Change up your gameplay.
I gotta play with you, dude. Like,
Hey, so I guess this came out on Friday and it's Wednesday. So we have not had a chance to play together, but I'm sure we're going to play so much of this. I think we'll probably be streaming it sometime soon. So check out our Twitch and check out our YouTube for that because it's a lot of fun. And you can hear me complain about the different weapons when I'm in it. I'll probably do something on that, but it's a lot of fun. There's one map that I really don't like. I don't like the map with the cars. I didn't mind it at first, but now that I've played it some more, I don't like it. And I mean, it's gonna be there. It's gonna be there.
there's
They're
just so
not
many
gonna.
cars to burrow. That map had me raging.
Yeah.
Like I was honestly at one point I was thinking about like should I blow up every car just so I can't get caught like this?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I got put into that lobby the last game session I had. I was like, I can run 2 matches. I don't want this match to be. I was like pressed for time. I left. I think if I keep getting put into that match, I'm gonna leave because I'm almost level 30 and I've played the hotel map once. So,
Damn.
and I know that like there might be something to that because so basically there's a map that it's very much reminiscent of a very, I guess, well-known hotel in Amsterdam. And the hotel is upset about being in the game without their permission, and they're trying to sue Activision. But I don't think anybody, from what I've heard on I guess the reporting, that they did not go there prior to the game, and they made the map based on what they had on their website. So I don't know how true that is. That's just the reporting I've seen from Kotaku. So check that out. It's an interesting
It's
story.
probably like a personal beef because the Activision team was probably there and just,
Being rowdy, yeah,
being
maybe they
rowdy.
abused the minibar, man.
And and they remember them. They're like, oh yeah, we remember you guys were here. We're gonna give you
Yeah,
a hard time.
maybe the lawsuit is just over a couple towels. You never know.
Yeah, maybe they were doing what they do out there and things got messy.
You never know, man. But I guess, yeah, truly, I'm having a great time with it. I have some beef with the progression system, but it feels really good to play.
Yeah, I love this game. Shout out to people who made it. And we're definitely gonna get some content out there for you guys. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. I guess it is worth noting on both Overwatch and, Call of Duty. These are both from Activision and Blizzard. And, they're still being investigated for toxic work environment, among other things. So just keep that in mind when you play these games. And, I guess our hearts go out to those people that are still being affected by it. But I think, I mean, the hope is that not everybody, on these projects could be shitty. And there's thousands of people that work on them. So
Right.
although, you might be, and I think that they cleaned house a little bit, at least on the Activision and Blizzard side. So the hope is that the people that have done the bad things aren't necessarily there anymore.
For the
And
most part.
I think for the most part, so I guess our hearts go out to anyone affected, but I mean, they're fun games to play.
They are. And they always do a great job over there at Activision and at Blizzard. So really appreciate what you guys do for the community.
Well, I guess I don't really have much else to say on it. I kind of want I'm itching to get back on some COD, man.
Dude, I want to run. You want to run some right now? My neighbor just texted me.
I'll have
He's
to see. I gotta check with my lady. We'll have to see
yeah,
what's going on tonight. But
yeah, to see if he can get permission. I know what it's like.
and yeah, that's what happens when you get older. But yeah, man, I mean they're great games. And I think that especially the free to play ones, they're absolutely worth checking out. For Call of Duty, I mean, I think it's worth it. Brandon's having a great time. But maybe check out a Twitch stream, check out a YouTube video just to see if it's worth it for you because they are,
Yeah.
a premium $70 title and it's not going on sale anytime soon. So I guess before we end it up, I heard a rumor that this is not going to be an annualized Call of Duty. Do you think it's worth jumping in early?
Yeah, because it's going to be this is going to be the one for the next 2 years. So
Yeah, maybe get this one early.
definitely get this one early so you can prestige all the way through.
All right. Well, I think that's all we had from the Sticky Buds podcast this time around. Thank you so much for listening. That means the world to us.
Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. You can support us on Twitch. You can support us on Patreon. You can support us on TikTok, Instagram. We have a YouTube as well. We've seen some of our YouTube videos have gotten some traction recently. So thank you if you're watching it.
Thank you. Thank you.
On YouTube. We really appreciate it. And I think that's about all I had, Brandon. You ready to end it up?
Yep. Peace in the streets.